Good day, viewers. How are you all doing? Welcome to another episode of the Kotu Classic Extra podcast. I am your host today, Modu Sengor. I have my big brother with me, Chama. We're here to discuss. We're here to give you another episode of Premier League discussion. We'll also talk about the Champions League final coming up tomorrow, and we have some other topics that we also want to touch in. So we'll fly straight into it. Chama, how are you doing?
Mo, I'm good. Are you back? No, for the way, are you cool?
Cool. How are things going down there? And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Yeah, looking forward to the Champions League final, of course. Disappointed over the course of the last week because of the league, but of course we have to move on quickly. Dose ourselves and then think about the Champions League final. And right now we are in the Champions League mood, and I am looking really geared up for that one.
Definitely. As you all know, Chama, or if you do not know, Chama is a Liverpool fan, and I am a Manchester United fan. So it's very, I don't know, it's very unusual for two of the biggest rivals in England to be sitting down and discussing football together on the same show. But anyway, as you said, you're disappointed. So we fly straight into it. I would like us to start with the Premier League and the end of season, how the season ended. How do you feel about your end of season? As a Liverpool fan, you finished second in the league. How do you feel about the end of the league?
Yeah, I disappointed, of course, disappointed, but with a lot of pride, of course. I am very proud of the season that Liverpool had over like the season generally. If you think about the start of the season, we had a very bad season in 2020, 2019, 2020.
Yeah,
2021 season, sorry.
21 season where you had a lot of injury crisis.
We had a lot of injury crisis, and
Yeah,
a lot of pundits were doubting Liverpool at the start of this season. If you look at some of the like predictions they made at the start of the season, where they didn't expect Liverpool to finish at this position. Personally, I was very optimistic as a Liverpool fan. Obviously, I was optimistic that we will finish there, but also because I knew the quality of players that we had. Because if you consider back before the start of last season as well, the idea was that Liverpool gonna work with the league because they had almost worked with the league the previous season. So that is the kind of recency bias that people had in their mind. I did not kind of buy into that idea. So yeah, I am disappointed that Man City won the league because they won it in the final 15 minutes of the season. We could have won it. Steven Gerrard could have done us a favor, but yeah, it was Man City were too powerful for him. So congratulations to them. Disappointed, but still proud of the season that we are having this season. 2 cups and already in the Champions League final. So I cannot be prouder of what the boys have achieved this season. To be honest.
I mean, I don't know as a Manchester United fan how I should feel. I have one of my biggest rivals. I mean, I am happy that Liverpool didn't win the league, but I'm also not happy that Manchester City won the league because
Yeah, both of
we
them.
call them the noisy neighbors. So I don't know, but I think it was great that Manchester City won the league because if Liverpool were to win the quadruple, I mean it would take away our record of being the best team in the Premier League history where we won the treble.
Yeah, 99.
So yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, we have been a complete shambles this season. We would come to that, and but I mean, Manchester City. What's your take on Manchester City this season? Because um, I I think they have a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
Pep is a very fantastic coach, and as much as I hate admitting it. I think I prefer if I was to choose between Liverpool and Manchester City. I think I more likely will go for Liverpool because Pep is an excellent coach. He's an elite coach, but
Yeah.
I think I'm more into Jurgen Klopp's style of coaching. I think he's a better coach, with the way he plays with his team. I think the only advantage Pep has over him is that he has more money available to spend on players than Jurgen Klopp that takes 20, 30 million pound or Euro players and develop them into world stars like the Sadio Manes, the Van Dijks, the Fabinhos. I mean, what's your take on Manchester City this season?
They are an exceptional team.
Since they were your biggest rivals in the league this season, because not
Yeah,
Manchester United,
yeah,
Arsenal, not
definitely.
Tottenham.
Yeah, definitely.
So
That's what I expected. I expected them to be the biggest rivals, of course, and a little bit of Chelsea because Chelsea were the defending champions of the Champions League, and Thomas Tuchel has really transformed that team in a very short space of time. But about Manchester City, for me personally, I think they are an exceptional team. They are an elite team. They are a complete team. They have everything.
definitely.
And they are adding some more qualities into that. They have added Alvarez, the Argentinian guy who scored 6 goals yesterday or day before yesterday,
Yeah,
and then they have added
yeah,
Alan Haaland. So that's also
yeah.
a big statement for them. In terms of team, they are just exceptional. I love watching Manchester City, even though I'm a Liverpool fan. I love watching the way they control games because I kind of have some interest in coaching and things like that. So I also watch
Definitely.
football from the point of view of a football fan, not just a Liverpool fan. And Manchester City
Liverpool
is one of
fan.
those teams. It's one of those teams that I really admire, seeing the way they play. We are, yeah, of course, the money is another topic to talk about. The spending powers that they have compared to other clubs and things like that. But in terms of football, what they do, and in terms of Haaland coming into the team, I think that's gonna add completely. It's gonna add something new to them. I hope he does not settle early as a Liverpool fan, obviously.
That's where I was coming into.
Yeah,
Do you think Erling Haaland coming into Manchester City would? I mean, do you think that they could win the league next season? But do you think that Erling Haaland would make them like win the Champions League, or they would win both Premier League and Champions League next season? Because from how I'm looking at it is for the past 2 seasons, Manchester City have been playing without an all and out striker, like an out and out striker, like Erling Haaland or a Ronaldo or a Harry Kane. They wanted Harry Kane, they couldn't get him. We knew for a long time that Pep really wanted an out and out striker like an Aguero.
yeah,
And they have been playing without an out and out striker, and that has really completed and it has revolutionized even more the way they play and the way they hold possession against teams.
yeah,
With Erling Haaland coming, they would have to release that possession more. And I don't know, I feel that if he doesn't settle in early next season, it would be an advantage for other teams to at least do something before he settles down in the team and the way before they change the way they play. I mean, what's your take on that?
I agree with you on that. And as a Liverpool fan, I'm hoping that that is the case. He does not settle in early, and I know Liverpool will start with a bang. They will just try to get as many points in the bag as possible as early as possible, so that then other teams will try to play catch up and things like that. That is what we did when we had the 97, 98, 99 points with Manchester City. The following season we just came in 28 games. I think we drew 1 point. We drew one
Yeah,
game until the 28 game. That was when we lost our first game in that season. So before Man City settled, Liverpool were already over there. So in terms of Haaland coming in, objectively, I don't see him coming in and then settling in straight away because of the points that you just mentioned. Because Man City have to transform. They have played 2 seasons without a number 9, but Pep is an except. He's a genius of a manager, so he
he's a
can
genius
make
of
it
a
work
manager. Yeah,
early. He can make it work early. But my hope is
definitely.
that it does not happen. So if that does not happen, then they will struggle to find ways to bet in Haaland into their team. Because Manchester City, don't forget, they are a very controlling team. They want to control
Controlling.
the game. They want to dictate the tempo of the game. They want to do everything. Yes, we talk about the
They like
Champions League.
possession.
Yeah,
They
last
like
two seasons.
possession.
Exactly. They like the position game. So last 2 seasons, of course they did not win the Champions League. But if you ask me as a football man, I would tell you they should have been in the Champions League final right now because
Definitely.
They completely battered Real Madrid. Yeah, something just happened. So that has nothing to do with Manchester City not having a number 9 or Manchester City playing a set type of football. It was just sheer bad luck or something. Something happened out of a sudden, and the Man City are out of the competition. And against Chelsea too, that one maybe you may say Chelsea found their number in that game. Chelsea won. Thomas Tuchel kind of did Pep something, and he won that game. But in terms of Haaland, yeah, my hope is that this happened. He does not settle in early, and then, but if he settles in early, it's gonna be suicide. It's gonna be brutal for every team in the Premier League, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he settles in early, I feel sorry for everybody, man. I feel sorry for everybody. I definitely feel sorry for everybody if he settles down quickly. But I mean, I think we can both agree on this as rivals that we definitely do not want him to settle down early
Yeah,
because it will be the best for everybody. So,
definitely.
but looking at the Premier League this season,
Yeah,
let's talk about the manager of the season
yeah,
because, like I said, I feel like Liverpool has been more consistent this season.
hmm,
Manchester City have been consistent. Manchester United they've had an awful season.
yeah,
Arsenal has not been that much consistent, and with also Tottenham.
yeah.
So looking at the managers that have been managing these teams, obviously Tottenham have sacked their manager, they sacked Mourinho, brought in Conte. He did a great job in getting them top four.
Exceptional
I
job.
think Arteta also did a very good job at Arsenal. I just think I just think Arsenal fans were are a little bit impatient with him, but I think he did a good job because he's transformed that team. And you look at other teams like the Villas, the Newcastle, what Eddie Howe did at Newcastle. He also came in not at the beginning of the. I think he came in the middle of the season. Am I right?
Yeah, 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 definitely.
He came in the middle of the season. He also transformed the team. He did a very good job. But I, personally, if I was going for the manager of the season, I would go with Klopp
Hmm.
because I think Liverpool have been more consistent and they have been in all four major competitions, the Carabao Cup, the the Premier League, the Champions League, and um, the FA Cup, right?
Yeah.
So I would go with Klopp. But as a football fan, who would you say is the manager of the season for you?
Yeah, I think you mentioned Eddie Howe. I think he did an exceptional job because Newcastle did not come and splash all the money. Yes, they did bought a couple of players, very good players like
Yes.
Bruno Guimaraes from France and Leon, and then they brought in Trippier from Atletico Madrid. They brought in some quality players, some
Some
good
players.
players, but they did not just splash the money and then you expect them to just come and turn it around, because when he came in, the team was already in the relegation zone. So he turned that
Yeah.
around, and then and Newcastle happened to finish in a very comfortable situation. So I think he deserves a lot of mention. And
Not a quality.
Conte, likewise, he when he came into Tottenham, we are struggling. Top four was not a reality for Tottenham at that point in time, and then he made them realize this. So he has also had a very good season. Pep Guardiola, he won the league. It's easy to say Pep Guardiola is the manager of the season, and he had an exceptional season with Manchester City. Yes, the Champions League didn't go their way. The FA Cup against Liverpool didn't go their way in the semi-finals, but otherwise, they did not just got eliminated in all this competition. They fought hard, and then sometimes they got unlucky. Sometimes they got unlucky and they get eliminated. But in the league, they won the league. And I think at the start of the season, if I was putting my money, if I was a betting man, if I was not a Liverpool fan, I would bet my money on Manchester City to win the league,
And
because
Manchester City.
they had the better team than any other team in that league. So there was no surprise that Manchester City won the league. But there was this surprise that Liverpool could push them all the way, because Liverpool was not expected to be there at the start of the season. At least for the
Definitely.
outsiders. Maybe for the insiders like Liverpool fans, we kind of, because of hope, because of the support we have, because of we are Liverpool fans, so maybe we felt that we could be there. So
Yeah.
I think Klopp, what he's done this season is exceptional. To take his
Yeah.
team to
Competing in all four competitions. I mean, for me,
exactly,
that is what really amazed me. You guys were
exactly,
playing.
exactly.
Liverpool were playing about 2, 3 times in a week, every
Yeah,
week.
exactly. And the strange thing, right? When the thing becomes so important, like the second half of the season, the decisive part of the season, that was when Liverpool was more consistent. Because if you remember, at
Exactly.
the start of the season, Liverpool were struggling for consistency, a lot of draws here and there. So
Yeah.
I think we lost the league in the first half of the season, not actually in the second
Yeah.
half of the season. Because if you remember, there
Yeah.
was at some point there was 14 points. Manchester City were 14 points ahead of Liverpool, but they had 2 games in hand. Liverpool had 2 games in hand. So
Yeah.
it was a fake 14 points, I would say, like Pep called it, because if Liverpool win their 2 games in hand, it's 8 points. So, but still, to catch up Manchester City with these 8 points, like you make it say 1 point at the end of the season, I think that was exceptional. So for me,
Not only.
yeah, there is a bias part of it, But what Klopp did is just exceptional, to be honest. What he did with his Liverpool team is just exceptional, and the players he
It's
added in
exceptional.
is exceptional. Yeah, for me, it's Klopp, to be honest.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I mean, I always look at him as I've always looked at him as an elite manager. I mean, I think I always reference him as a Manchester United fan. I always reference him as the closest thing to a Sir Alex Ferguson because he came to Liverpool when Liverpool were down at the bottom, were struggling, the same way Sir Alex came to Manchester United when they are down at the bottom. He came, he revolutionized the team, he built it from the ground up. He has total control over the team. He has. I mean, the way he runs that club, he has a lot of similarities to him, coming from outside, changing the philosophy, changing the style, the the play, the style of play of the team, the way he runs the team, the way he manages the players. Yeah, I think he's the closest thing you can get to Sir Alex, and the way Liverpool also play. Manchester City, the brand of football they play is about the tiki-taka, ball possession and all. I think Liverpool like holding ball possession and all, but I think it's also about the fast counter-attacking and pressing of teams to hold them back in their own box. So I think he's a very elite manager. Yeah, and I think him being manager of the season is definitely worth it. What about the player of the season?
Yeah, player of the season was a tricky one. I think they gave it to Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, give it to Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for me personally, if I was to rate who's the best player in the Premier League, Kevin De Bruyne will be not at the top, despite the players that
Yeah,
Liverpool have, the Mo Salah,
yeah,
the Manes.
yeah.
I think De Bruyne is just exceptional player, but I don't think he had the season where he deserved to be the player of the season in the Premier League. I think there are
I think
players
even
that
last season when last season when Bruno had a good season, this is last season when Bruno had a good season. I think they also gave De Bruyne I think the player of the season, or there was an award he won ahead of Bruno, and which I totally disagreed with because I think Bruno had a very fantastic season last season and even the season before last. But anyway, that's the decision of the Premier League. But
yeah
yeah, I think this is
for me, I will go with either Salah or Son. Son, for the reason that he has been pretty consistent. He has done something that he has never done before, to be
yeah,
the Golden Boot winner in the Premier League, and the consistency that he showed. And he was one of those key players for Tottenham, especially in the second half of the season when they needed this, when Arsenal was in the dominant period,
exactly,
he
exactly,
become that
exactly.
key player for Tottenham. When Kane, yes, Kane did become important in the later stage of the season, but it was always Son. It was always Son who was doing
Because
that for
already
them.
he has been very consistent, and in around the circumstances that he did it in, I think it was very fantastic.
It was very fantastic, exactly. But Salah too, for me, the first half of the season that he had this season, it was completely exceptional because he completely blew everybody in the league. When he was what he
Mhm.
was doing at the start of the season, the first half of the season, before he went to the African Cup of Nations, everybody was
Yeah,
talking about Salah being world best player in the world, to be running for the
was
Ballon d'Or and things like that. That was how dominant he was in the league. There was no close contest for him. Understand? And then
interesting.
later he went to the African Cup of Nations. He came back, and then he had some disruption in his season. And then there was this, recency bias, where everybody kind of forget what happened. Everybody was focused on what was happening around him at that time, where he got a few injuries here and there, niggles, and Liverpool were always in all the competitions. He did not score a lot of goals, and then we already forget. But the way he dominated that first half of the season, just that for me makes him
Yeah,
deserve
yeah,
the
yeah. I think
number two.
I think you really mentioned a very good point. I think in the first half of the season, before he went to the African Cup of Nations, I think not only in the Premier League, but I think all around in Europe, there was nobody close to him. I think he was playing very well. He was at the top of his game. He was scoring very good goals. He was giving out very good assists.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If the African Cup of Nations hadn't come up around that time and he continued, I think he would have won the Golden Boot this season. But
Yeah,
I
he
think
won
with the
definitely.
disrespect
He shared it with Son at the end of the day, so
with
he still
Son,
won.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I think he would have won it sole. He would have been the sole winner of the of
yeah,
the
definitely.
of the Golden Boot because
Yeah, definitely.
with also the him not winning the African Cup of Nations, also coming back to England. with the whole saga with Sadio Mane, this and that. There was a whole lot of disruption around him at that time.
Yeah.
I think all that also, but I think he's done a good job to revive himself and come back stronger.
Yeah.
You know, but I think also Son has to be given a lot of credit with the circumstances he did it around him. That is what impressed me because it wasn't very rosy when Jose Mourinho was there. And also with the change of manager, Conte having to come, you have to adapt to a new style of play, to a new philosophy, to a new manager, to a new everything. And he still kept being consistent. I think, yeah, definitely. If I was to choose anyone, I think it would be him.
Yeah, definitely. Either one of them for me, I'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be him. I think it would be him.
Other players you think they have good season other than those three? Who you think?
I think Son, Salah, Mane, Kevin De Bruyne.
I don't think Kevin De Bruyne is the best player at Manchester City this season. That's how I think he's not even.
I don't think he's even the best player in the league this season.
Yeah, of course, the league we are talking about. But I'm saying just his team. I think Cancelo had a better season than him.
Cancelo did a good job. I think Cancelo did a good job. I think Bernardo Silva, I think, did a fantastic job.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva had a more consistent season than him.
Season, you know.
Other teams you have Gerard Bowen. I think Bowen to have an exceptional season.
Exactly, Bowen. I nearly forgot about him. I think Bowen also had a very good season.
Yeah.
I think, and talking about good seasons and players, this would take us to the next topic. And I want us to talk about Manchester United.
Yeah.
And a player in particular, because Cristiano Ronaldo. First of all, let's talk about Manchester United first, before I come to Cristiano Ronaldo, because I have Cristiano Ronaldo, I want to talk about him and also discuss about this, the pundits and ex-players in the media.
Yeah.
But first of all, let's talk about Manchester United. What's your take on Manchester United this season? As a Manchester United fan this season, I think we've had a very awful season.
Yeah.
I think the club made a mistake on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think they should have sacked him earlier.
Yeah.
I also think Ralf Rangnick is the best thing that happened to Manchester United. I think he's the best thing that ever happened to Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Because I think he came to the club, analyzed the situation, saw the problems, and exposed them.
Yeah.
I haven't heard for 1 minute or for once any Manchester United fan ranting about Rangnick out also, because I think he gave Manchester United fans what we have been yearning for over the years: transparency and honesty. He answers very good. The way he answers questions in press conferences, I just love watching this man answer questions. He is so intelligent. He exposes the problems in the club. He calls out the players, calls out the board. And I just think that him being around the club would really help us a lot. The players have been very awful. I think we need a whole new squad. Apart from David De Gea, Varane, and Sancho and Ronaldo, the rest, I will get rid of them. I think the only player I will give a second chance is Bruno Fernandes. Apart from them, the rest, I think they're just not good enough. They're not Manchester United players. And there has been a lot of leaks also. Players not wanting to do this, players not wanting to do that. They don't like Rangnick's tactics. They don't like this. They don't like that. For me, I think even if you gave Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola this Manchester United team, they wouldn't know what to do with it. Because I honestly don't think these players are just good enough. I just don't think that they're up to Manchester United standards. I think the board, when Woodward was there and the Glazers, they did a very bad job in constructing this bunch of players that are so driven by money and social media and business and over-pampered grown babies. That's all that I can call them. What do you make of Manchester United season?
Yeah, this season, I think it's terrible. It's a terrible season for United. This is their worst ever season. I think since Alex,
worst ever season.
Well, a very long time since I started watching football. I would say this
worst ever season.
Worst season for Manchester United. So yeah, And yeah, you're talking about Rangnick. I think I talked about him with Che some time back, and he kind of gave me one phrase about him. He said he is too honest for his liking, and I kind of agree with him on that. I know the problems need to be exposed. The problem needs to be, it needs to be visible. But sometimes when you are managing these big institutions, being too plain about certain things does not do too much good. It kind of bring about sections about the team. I'm sure maybe it will pave the way for the next manager to come and settle those things, because he's not gonna stay. Rangnick is not gonna stay. But if he was staying in that team, it would have been terrible thing to do what he did, like being so honest about the team and things like that. It will not help the team. It will not help the club as a general. But because he's leaving, somebody else is coming in. Maybe that will help in that way. Like you are saying, it's the best thing that ever happened to Manchester United. So in that way, it can help the subsequent manager. But yeah, for your season, yeah, it was really 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 bad considering where you finished last season. You finished second in the league, and I know many Manchester United fans, ex players, were very optimistic that Manchester United will kick on from there because of the signings you made. You made some exceptional signings. Sancho, I think his season was very bad, was very average. He has some spells where he came in and did well. Ronaldo,
I think Sancho I think he did not settle in well, and the way he started the season on the early wasn't very good. But I think he's a very fantastic player. If he settles down and adapts,
yeah, he's a very good player. Of course, I used to follow him at Dortmund, and yeah, I also wish that Liverpool signed him because he was doing very well at Dortmund. But
yeah,
to judge his season or to rate his season, I don't think it has been a great season for him this year. But maybe because he's still young, there will be time for him, and maybe the next manager could get the best out of him. Varane too, he was too injury prone this season. I think last season many people were saying that yeah, he won a lot of things with Real Madrid, but he was not always very much rated there to come and be the leader at the back, and try to move this team from this level to another. Unfortunately, injury has not helped him on that regard. But if you look at
definitely.
him as his season as a whole, even the games that he has been available for, I'm not saying he has been okay, but he has not been exceptional. Like, he has not been transformative for Manchester United. What Manchester United expected
Yeah,
from him, especially from his Champions League, his World Cup, and all these trophies that he came on with, he has not been that player that we would expect from him.
definitely.
Ronaldo, at 36 years old, I will still stand
Hold on
by.
there. Hold on there. We will talk about Ronaldo. Hold on there. Hold on there. We will come to Ronaldo because Ronaldo is a separate topic, and we will move on. But before we move on, I just wanted to say something. I think yeah, I think Ragnick being very honest. I think I'll have to disagree with people who say that it's a bad thing. I mean, it's your opinion, but I think these problems have been at Manchester United for too long, and
Yeah.
I think him coming and exposing it out really helps the team moving in the right direction. That's my take on it, and
Yeah.
a lot of Manchester United fans, I think that is their take on it, and that is why I think they have been on board with Ragnick for a long time, and they have come to know that this is not a problem of the manager or coaching staff or so on. This is the problem of players and people above the manager. And I really hope that things will change under Eric Ten Hag. I think I hope they're given the support he needs and he deserves, and things would move forward. Talking about Cristiano Ronaldo,
Yeah.
I've had this discussion with you, and
Yeah.
I'm really sick and tired of ex-players and pundits coming to the media telling us that he's the problem of Manchester United. He is this. He's too powerful in the dressing room. He's this and this and that. Look,
Mm-hmm.
everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But I think when it comes to punditry, there are principles to punditry. And I think being honest and transparent and not looking at if this person is my mate or if this person I'm more familiar with or used to has
Yeah.
anything to do with principles of punditry. And I think the British media are too biased with foreign players, especially foreign players. They are too biased when it comes to foreign players.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Jamie Carragher yesterday or day before yesterday talking about Manchester United, Ten Hag should make a big statement by selling Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, like, I totally disagree with you. And honestly, if you do not have anything else, if you do not have anything sensible to say, I think it's just better to keep quiet and just don't say anything.
Yeah.
We're talking about one of the most decorated men in football.
Yeah.
He came into the worst Manchester United side and scored 18 Premier League goals. Why are they not talking about Marcus Rashford? Why are they not talking about Harry Maguire, who is the worst ever captain that Manchester United ever had? Why is anybody not mentioning Scott McTominay, who for the past 2 seasons has been playing in our midfield and has been dominated absolutely every single game that he plays? He can't even complete 50 passes in a game. And he is a midfielder playing for Manchester United. Why is everybody not talking about Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Why are we not talking about Luke Shaw? These are all people who've had very terrible seasons. But no, because they have British passports, then we're not going to mention them. I heard Gary Neville yesterday talking about, well, it might be because of the toxic situation in the dressing room that has affected Marcus Rashford. I'm like, mate, he's just not very good. He's just not very good. I'm really sick and tired of people telling me that Cristiano Ronaldo is the problem of Manchester United. I'm sick and tired of it. And I really wish that I could be on the same. The thing is, these ex-players have a massive following and huge platforms. And not every football fan is able to sit down and analyze football and tactics properly.
Yeah.
So if you are giving out messages like that, you need to give out very constructive criticisms and very constructive messages so that these fans that can analyze football properly could benefit from it. But don't just go out there and say whatever you want to say just because you're not in line with this person or you're not in support of this person. And I think there has been too much bias towards the foreign players in the Premier League, especially in Manchester United and especially with these pundits and ex-players.
Okay, like I always like to say, it's always about opinions. Like just like I say, you can be sick and tired of them, but they have their opinions. They will say it out, and they have the platform, and they will use the platforms. But that's why others have their platform too. There are fans who have their platform. That's why I listen to, for example, the United Stand, Mark Goldbridge. I really like him because the way he analyzes football, I enjoy it because he's very deep when it comes to the analysis that he put in, and this is the kind of things I wanna absorb when it comes to absorbing football. But also people like Gary Neville you are talking about, people like Carragher. I don't agree with Carragher's statement about Ronaldo. I don't agree with it. I have my opinions about Ronaldo, but I don't agree with the way he approached it. And people like Gabi Agbonloho or people like Jamie O'Hara, they all have their opinions. All these ex-footballers, they have their opinions. They have the platforms. Some of them, I listen to them for a laugh. Like, I listen to them just for me to laugh, look at them and laugh. That's their opinion. And by doing that, they're making me laugh. I'm enjoying what they are saying, but I know it's all rubbish. It's all they're not saying anything that makes sense to me, even though they were ex-footballers. So at the end of the day, everybody have their opinion. So we will always try to come up with our opinions, even though we don't have a platform as huge as them, but we will always try to put across our opinions. So if somebody out there happens to accept their opinion, like they are putting it, let them be with them. But you have your opinion, and then you disagree with them. That is it. So that is how I approach it for myself personally. I don't take it okay, this player has this. I just take it for a laugh for some of them. But for some of them, I absorb their information because it's very genuine and it's very, very, very accurate. But yeah, about Ronaldo, my opinion about him always, I think it stands. It stands when it comes to. I'm not saying he's the problem. Like when I said it in the first time with Bruce, I say I'm not saying Ronaldo is a bad egg in the team or he is the bad influence or something. But it's because of what was going on at the United at the time. You say Ole should have been sacked early. If Ole was sacked early and Ronaldo came into that team with a manager, for example, Ancelotti coming to Manchester United and then Ronaldo coming into that team, maybe that would have been an exceptional thing. Ancelotti is doing it at Real Madrid. He's having some 36-year-old. He's going to be playing in the Champions League. But at that point in time, what Manchester United were cooking, Ronaldo was not something that you needed to add on that dish kind of. That's why, for me, Ronaldo was not the right player for that time. because of the project. Manchester Ole has been going with whatever you have to say about Ole. He has been going on with the project gradually, even though it has not progressed to a level where you would like to see it, or other Manchester United fans would like to see it. But there was a project that was going on, and Ronaldo was not something to be added to that project. Unless Ole was sacked, like you say, maybe Ronaldo would have made sense. But in Ole's case, it did not make sense to me. And up till now, it does not make sense. But Ronaldo, yeah, to be honest, 36-year-old scoring 18 goals in the league. I don't think that is the player you want
in the worst United side ever. If Ronaldo was playing for Manchester City or Liverpool, I bet you this season he would have scored up to 40 goals.
Yeah, possibly.
He would have scored up to 40 goals.
Yeah, but when it comes to Liverpool, it's not about who scores the goals for us. It's about what we want from our players. Everybody keeps slating Roberto Firmino. He does not score a lot of goals. But why is Klopp very happy with him? Why are Liverpool fans very happy with him? It's not just about the goals. Sometimes it's about other aspects of the game. And I don't think Ronaldo will offer us that kind of other things. What we will want from our striker. So it depends there. But I think he has had an exceptional season. And
chances that you create.
Yeah,
the chances that Liverpool create would be effective to Ronaldo. So he would score a lot of goals. Liverpool create a lot of chances. And Ronaldo is a player, the way Ronaldo plays right now, he relies on chances. Yeah. Manchester United do not create a lot of chances because we do not have a good midfield, we do not have a good defense, we do not have good creative players, enough creative players. So if he was playing for Manchester City, Pep Guardiola wanted Ronaldo.
Yeah, definitely.
He wanted Ronaldo. He wanted Ronaldo. He would have worked very well in Manchester City. And I'm very, 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 very sure that if he had gone to Liverpool also, he would have worked very well under Liverpool because he would have scored a lot of goals. They would have created a lot of chances. And I'm very, very, very sure that
there will be chances. There will be chances. Yeah. But about the system, I think for Liverpool. I think it's, of course, it will never happen. This is just our hypothetical imagination. But because of the way Liverpool like to play football, because of the way what Liverpool want from their striker, like I say, all those kind of things. So the goal is not the most important. It's not the most important product from a Liverpool striker, if I can say it like that. That is not the most important aspect. That's not the most important product we want from our striker. Yeah, but of course, like you say, if he was gonna play every single game in a Liverpool attack with the chances they clear, he will score a lot of goals. I agree with you.
So I don't know. I'm that's my take on it. I'm just really tired of hearing Ronaldo is this, Ronaldo is that. Let them call out the real problems at Manchester United. You have Marcus Rashford, who has been very awful and very, very, very bad this season, and no ex-player is talking about him.
I have a question for you. Yeah, I have a question for you too. Yeah, I know Rashford haven't had the best season of his.
McTominay. What about Maguire, the captain?
Yeah, I get your point. All these players, most of them did not have the best of season. But again, if you roll back one season ago, Maguire was having a decent season. I'm not saying he was having an exceptional season. He was the best defender in the league or something like that. But he was having a decent season. Rashford was having a decent season in terms of scoring goals. So they have done it before. They have showed that they have. I'm not saying Maguire is a 80 million defender. He will never be in my eyes, never. But
he will never be in our.
So if we take that price out of the window, of course, sometimes as a Manchester United fan, you have to look at it like that because you bought him for that amount of money. You expect him to at least play 50 million worth of football, which he is not doing. But in terms of taking that out of the picture and then just looking at him as a footballer, I think he can still be a team player. He can still be a Manchester United player. Maybe you will not expect him to be the first choice.
Harry Maguire?
Yeah, he can still be a Manchester United player because he had a decent season.
I think he can be a decent player for Aston Villa or a Newcastle, but I don't think he will ever be a top 4 or a top 6 centre back. I don't think you can win a Premier League with Harry Maguire, to be honest.
But you came close, and England came close to winning the Euros with Harry Maguire. Don't forget that. So it depends on the way they are playing. So I'm not saying he is like I say, it's different thing talking about Harry Maguire as an 80 million player and talking about Harry Maguire as a footballer. You know, so I want to take out that 80 million price tag.
I'm looking at him as a footballer. I'm looking at him as Harry Maguire, the defender, the footballer.
Yeah, he's still a decent footballer. That is what I'm saying. He's not the fastest footballer. He's a ball playing centre back. He is very good, dominant in the air. He has some qualities as a footballer, which he can show sometimes, but it's not consistent enough. But what about a coach who can come and make him realize his potential? There is some potential there, of course. Marcus Rashford likewise. But just saying, because they had this terrible season, and then you have to get rid of the team, all of them, and then start again. I don't think that works. I can remember when Klopp came into Liverpool, we were struggling 8th position. I did not even want to watch Liverpool. That season when it comes to when Rodgers was with the team. The team was so bad. I did not even have any hope on this team. But most of these players, Klopp kept them. Milner today, I will be celebrating Milner. I can remember those days when he was insisting he wanted to play in Liverpool midfield. I discouraged Milner because he was not doing well. But Klopp kept with him and then kept faith with him and then developed him, and Milner became a very important player. Up to this day, Milner is at 35, 36 years old. He is still doing it. At 34 years old. I'm not sure about his age, but he's still doing it because of the coach gave him a chance. So to say that the coach has to just come and take all these players out and then bring all his new players, I think that is too like basic.
I think from the how I'm looking at it is he cannot make all the changes in one season. But as time goes on, as a Manchester United fan, and listening to a lot of Manchester United fans, we are of the opinion that a lot of those players in that team are very average players. We would need a whole lot of new players to come in and we want players who are dedicated to the team, who want to fight for the team, who want to play for the badge, and not for the money and the exposure and all the other distractions.
How do you decide that this player is not committed? How do you decide that? How do you measure who is committed and who is not committed? Sometimes, because I know you sometimes also talk about coach. The players have not been properly coached. So how will you blame the player for not being properly coached? No, you blame the manager who was there.
That's
so
true.
there is also some.
That's true.
So if they are not having those seasons that you will expect from them, I don't think you can stand here and say Rashford is not committed to Manchester United. He is a Manchester United boy. He's a Manchester United breed. He started from the academy. So that commitment in him is there. But he have not had the best season. We agree on that. Understand? How can you measure who is committed and who is not committed? That I don't know how to measure from the outside.
Yeah. Well, okay. As a Manchester United fan, again, I can tell you that this season, a lot of times we have seen players come into the team and have not tried at all. They have not put in the best effort that they should have to play games.
Yeah.
That is what we are saying. I'm not saying that Marcus Rashford is totally crap. There were a season of 2 seasons ago, he was doing fantastically well. And we were even comparing him to the likes of Neymar and Mbappe because he would run, he would hold the ball, dribble players, dribble past players, run at
Why
players.
will you not give that player a chance? Why will you not give that player a chance?
But what we are saying is that before Ragnick came into the team, the coaching was very basic. Obviously, we know Ole had his favorites. And also, these players were having everything as an easy ride. When Ragnick came in and wanted to do things the proper way, all of them revolted against him. We've had lots of leaks about players not wanting to do double training sessions, not wanting to carry out instructions that Ragnick was giving out, not believing in his tactics, this and that. Ragnick couldn't even get these people to play a brand of football that he wanted them to play. And these are professional footballers on hundreds of thousands of wages per week. We have seen players come into the team and being brought on into and being substituted into games and not tried enough. They have not run around. They don't track back. They don't put any efforts in.
But personally, I'm very careful when it comes to I'm very careful when it comes to say this player is doing this player is doing that. There are leaks, but how valid are these leaks? It's just rumors that. So it's difficult for me to actually even comment on that, to be honest.
That's true. But anyway, we'll have to move on. But like I said before, I don't think Ronaldo is a problem in this team. I think he's an elite player. He has an elite mentality, and I'm just sick of this ex-players and these pundits that sit on Sky Sports and sit on these medias and just be biased. I'm just sick and tired of it. So we move on to
it's
the Champions
opinion,
League
so
final.
accept it.
I mean, I think when you're giving our opinion, you really have to give our honest opinion and not be biased on it. But anyway, we'll move on.
But you cannot expect that from anybody. You can just like that's why is you have brain to analyze who is giving something legit, and that is our test also as listeners to try to measure out what is like how they say separate what is the good and the bad, something like that.
So the Champions League final, we have the Champions League final tomorrow, and we have Liverpool and Real Madrid, and obviously you are a Liverpool fan. So, how high are your hopes?
Very high, very high. As a Liverpool fan, I'm always very hopeful. In a one-off game, when we play any team, I am always gonna back Liverpool, especially on the Jurgen Klopp. Of course, there were times on the other managers where I have a little bit of doubt, but on a club, and whenever we go head to head with any team, it does not matter which team it is. I always fancy us to win. So, and that is the same thing I'm going to go with. But nonetheless, I know the history of Real Madrid. I know how solid this team is. I know how historic this club is. They are just built to win cups. They are just built as winners. But yeah, I think it will be interesting. I have some worries. Of course, Liverpool have some worries in terms of injuries, especially in the middle of the pitch, which is very crucial in this game. Fabinho is coming back from his hamstring injury, so that is a bit of a worry for us. But I think he trained in the last few days, so he should be back. Thiago last week he limped off in our final game of the Premier League season, but thank God he was also started training on Wednesday. But he was back in training, and club said he should be fine. And Van Dijk too has been on the bench for the past couple of games, so he should also be fine. So in terms of those players, they kind of lack rhythm, and I'm not sure about their fitness level where they are at this point in time. But nonetheless, even without some of those players, I still see a very solid team. Whatever team that club puts out there, I will be very proud. I will be very confident with the team. Yeah, but I know Real Madrid, their threat is basically very concentrated on one side, like their left-sided play, that is Vinicius Junior and Benzema, linking up play, things like that. That is their biggest threat. So I think for a Liverpool team, the biggest challenge we have is trying to stop services going to that area, like trying to limit the services that is going to that area, or also try to push them back as much as possible. For example, our fullbacks pushing high up, so in that way their wingers will have to drop and try to defend equally, be worried about our fullbacks as much as trying to go forward. But it will be an interesting game. I see it's a very interesting game. Their midfield is elite. That three of Casemiro, Cruz and Modric, I think they are just
I think especially Cruz and Modric, I think they are very vital and crucial to this Real Madrid team, and I think they are the biggest threat, because if they are controlled, you wouldn't have to be worried about Benzema having a lot of chances. So yeah, I mean, I hope that Real Madrid win.
Yeah, I know.
I hope that Real Madrid win. I'm expecting a very good game though. I'm really expecting. I know that it would be a very good and entertaining game. It would really be a very good and entertaining game. But I mean, yeah, I hope the Real Madrid win.
Yeah,
of Liverpool doing ahead of us.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for Liverpool, there are some areas that I think we should capitalize on as a team. In terms of set pieces, I see Real Madrid's team. They are very in terms of height, their height is very limited. I think the tallest player in their team is Casemiro, is the midfielder. Their two center backs are not huge. We have some big center backs in our team. Whoever starts, Ibu Konate or Matip, along with Van Dijk, they are all massive and they are big threats on set pieces. And we have two fullbacks who are very good at delivering crosses in terms of dead ball situation. So these dead ball situations, I think, is going to be very crucial for Liverpool in this game. And I hope that we can just nick in one. And when you play Real Madrid, the most important thing too is to kill them. kill them dead, as like don't give them any chance to give them any glimmer of hope. So I don't know how they're gonna cope with our pressure. Like the Liverpool intensity, they're gonna be very high on them. But
Very high on it.
that's why the injuries in our midfield is quite tricky. I hope we can find that fitness there. But it will be an interesting game. I think a lot of individual battles. Trent versus Vinicius Junior will be interesting because everybody, especially outsiders or neutrals and Real Madrid fans, they will expect that because everybody seems to think that Trent is the weak link when it comes to Liverpool defending. I know he's not the elite defender, he's not the best defender in the world, but also you have to worry about him going forward. So it will be interesting to see. He likes this individual battle sometimes, and he's sometimes up for it. And he has had some great ones over his career, where he has faced some very good attacking wingers or something like that, and he has done well in some situations, especially when he was younger. So I'm sure he will be up for that battle. And Vinicius, he has been on top form this season, and surely have really revived his career. Or not necessarily revived, because he is always young. He is just 21 years old. He just has like taking from one step to another step. And Benzema, I think when it comes to Ballon d'Or, I think Benzema is now favorites to win that Ballon d'Or.
I mean, so he's one of the best strikers in the world. So.
Exactly. So it will be interesting, but I don't know how they will cope with our set pieces and our intensity. These two things, I think it could be crucial. But we need to deal with their threat when it comes to attacking our channels, like the space we leave behind, especially on the left side, on the Trent side, because usually on their right side is Valverde, who is naturally a midfielder, not necessarily a winger, so he's never gonna run behind Robertson. So Robertson, maybe we will use Robertson more, and Trent try to stay more. I don't know how Klopp is gonna put it out, but whatever he does, I'm behind him.
I mean, there are two geniuses of tactical managers going head to head, and two teams that have two different style of footballs to offer. Yeah. So it will be a very interesting game. It will be a high intensity game. Liverpool will be under attack, and I'm sure Real Madrid will also be under attack. I expect a very good game.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your prediction? I'm not saying what you want, but what's your prediction?
You know what? I really want. I don't know, man. I don't know how to predict this game, because it's very difficult to predict against Liverpool. It's really difficult to predict against them. So I don't know. I'll just watch the match. I have no predictions. I'll just watch the match and hope that Real Madrid win. But I can't predict anything, man. I can't.
Okay, me too. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go to the prediction side. But yeah, I'm hoping that at the end, the ribbons will be red and on the UEFA Champions League. So that is my hope. That is my only hope. But it will be an interesting game, like you say. It's gonna be very, very.
It will be a very interesting game. Very interesting. Thanks very much for hopping on, Chama. It was a wonderful discussion. That's all we have for you guys today.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell, and hit the like button also. More content coming on your way. See you later.
Great. See you.